Hey, this video is all about thumbnails in Fiverr, and it is a collection of best practices of what to do on Fiverr to get a higher click rate. My name is Susan Fouché, and my 6 steps to 6 figures help Fiverr sellers do exactly that, reach their first 6 figures in earnings and sales on Fiverr. So before we get into it, for more excellent information about Fiverr and how to make money in this amazing platform, go into my description and there's a link to sign up for my newsletter. You'll get information that you're not going to get necessarily here in the videos, just more like product launches and just tidbits information to just help you sell more on Fiverr, put Fiverr to work for you. So let's go ahead and talk about thumbnails. So I always say this, you've probably heard me say it before, but thumbnails need to tell a story about the service that you can provide to your prospective clients. And your thumbnail is what is tied to your click rate. If you're looking in your analytics and you're looking at your click rate in your data, in your gig data. So that's what's tied to that. How good your thumbnail looks. And it's not even necessarily like how good your thumbnail looks. It's just what kind of story is your thumbnail telling to the prospective client about your services, about what you can do, about your experience, about just what they can expect when they hire you, when they pay their money on Fiverr to get you to do a service. So in my Fiverr videos, I like to kind of like look at Fiverr sellers that I really don't understand what their services are. I know what SEO is. We all know what SEO is, but I don't know how it works. I wouldn't know how to help somebody improve their SEO on a Google search, for example. And so I always look at it kind of like from the perspective of like a customer. Like if I wanted to improve my SEO ranking on my web page, would I hire these people? So I ran a search. I actually ran a couple searches. One of my searches was for SEO, just regular old SEO. Get my webpage on the at the top of the Google search. And then I ran another SEO search for local SEO because I kind of thought well, what if I had a store? I would want my store to be at the top of the search results for local search engine optimization. So the first one that I want to show you is kind of like my sort of like traditional Fiverr looking thumbnail with the seller's photo, very nice photo on the front of it, and then what he can do, what his service is. Now, if you are going to have a photo of yourself on a thumbnail, it needs to have 2 things in the thumbnail. You need to be smiling and you need to be looking at the camera. You need to be connecting to the actual potential buyer. And another thing about the photo is it needs to take up about half of the thumbnail. So really half of the thumbnail is the photo, and then the other half of the thumbnail is, text or graphical images of what that service can be. So, other aspects of the photo, your hair needs to be done right. You can't have crazy hair like me today. Your clothes need to look good, decent, whatever, pressed. So just, make sure that if it is a photo, it's a good representation of you and that you are smiling, preferably showing your teeth, and you are looking at the camera. So right away, if I wanted to rank number 1 on Google, obviously I would pick this guy because he says right away, rank number 1 on Google. He tells a story. The story is, if you hire me, you're going to rank number 1 on Google. Okay, I got it. And then, of course, it talks about on-page SEO and technical SEO. Now, for me personally, I don't really know what the difference is. I don't know. But I am intrigued, and it got me to click on his thumbnail. So he may be a little bit above my pay grade, in terms of what my website does for me. But this is a really great best practice for thumbnails. If you do have a photo, pretty much half of it needs to be the picture, looking at you, smiling, looking good, and then what you can do in just a few words, too. Notice there's not a whole lot of words on this thumbnail. It's just really rank number one on Google. That's really the most important thing. On-page SEO, technical SEO, that just those last things on the bottom, the on-page SEO and technical SEO, just kind of makes me think that like he knows what he's talking about. Now, on a side note, this person does not have any other thumbnails. However, he's got 32 orders in his queue, and his basic price starts at $175. Okay, now it is a 30-day delivery, but still, he's got 30 orders in his queue, so he's doing pretty well. I do want to point out that in his thumbnail carousel that shows like the work that he's done, if I go into it, he does a really nice job of allowing these to tell a story too. And I see a lot of issues with like Fiverr sellers not capitalizing on what they can put in their thumbnail, kind of like carousel or their work carousel or whatever we want to call this. But notice that it's just screenshots. And then he just went ahead and put green boxes and green arrows just pointing to like, here is the ranking number one. This dude is ranking number one for janitorial commercial cleaning in Fort Collins, Colorado. That's pretty amazing. So it's evidence that like ranking number one on Google, it's working. I go to the next one. Same thing. He's taken screenshots. He's got green arrows. He's gone ahead and like put boxes around things. This is what you need to do when you submit your work to your client. When the work is done and you submit your work to your client, you need to have some sort of representation of what you've done. Don't just have nothing in your work. Have something that is representative and that tells a story. This tells a story. It tells me, number one, best 10 tech sales companies to work for. Here's the next one. Same thing. I'm looking at like organic search traffic. I don't exactly know what it means, but there's arrows pointing to me, and I'm kind of dazzled by it. So make sure that not only your thumbnail is telling a story, but the work that's in your carousel is also telling a story too. The next thumbnail that we're going to look at is sort of like a non-traditional thumbnail, but I clicked on it because I love it. It tells a story, and it has to do with optimizing your website with SEO. Here we go. Wow. That totally tells me a story. Good SEO, I'm happy. Bad SEO, it makes me sad. And this is the seller's picture. And again, he's smiling. He's definitely showing his teeth. His eyes are looking right at me. And then it says rank number one on Google Fast. Okay. This guy's basic package starts at $695, and he's got 8 orders in his queue. Wow. I mean, he's doing some work here on Fiverr. This guy, both of these sellers that I've been showing absolutely are making money on Fiverr. And I realize that, I mean, they're making money because they have a good service, but they're also marketing themselves correctly with their thumbnails. Extremely eye-catching, extremely just tells me a story. It tells me a story. Yes, he feels my pain. With good SEO, I'm happy. With bad SEO, I'm sad. So that's how that works. And this is like I said, a non-traditional thumbnail, but man, it's really creative. And if I had $695 to get my website like at number one because I had a whole bunch of employees, which I don't, I would totally use him. I mean, I would absolutely 100% use either one of these guys, the facto Mike. All right. I also ran, like I said earlier, a search for local SEO, and I want to show you some thumbnails that really work and that I clicked on that tell a good story. So here's this one, and this is a more like, the traditional Fiverr-looking thumbnail. Best practices, he's looking at the camera, he's smiling. I don't actually know if this is the real person or not. I don't really care, He's not showing his teeth, but he's looking at me and there's a smile on his face and he looks professional. He looks like he knows what he's doing. Like professional is sort of like a different term these days too, looking professional. Like it used to be suit and tie and all that. And now it's like, just need to look like a guy who knows what he's doing. And the Apple laptop in front of him, I trust him. So Of course, like the text is dominate your competitors, local SEO. His thumbnail is a little busy, and I think his picture could be bigger, but it works. I clicked on it. I really wanted to just see what he had to offer. So again, this was like if I had a store and I wanted my store to be at the top page of Google results or Yelp or whatever. I think this guy could do it for me, definitely. And he's got 6 orders in his queue, and his basic package starts at $500. So he's clearly doing well as well. And I like his username too, Get Clicks. Pretty nice. All right. The next thumbnail that I'm going to show you is a non-traditional thumbnail, but man, does it tell a story. And here it is. All right, so here is a level 2 seller. The other sellers that I've been showing you are prorated and top level. This is a level 2. And okay, so he just sells map citations for $5. This is just your typical Fiverr seller. He's got 10 orders in his queue and he's done over 5,000 orders. So he makes money, you know. I saw there's a couple of my services that are really cheap too, that are kind of my bread and butter, that end up like, you know, the extra services bulk it up. But on Fiverr, you can have $5 jobs and still do very, very well. So getting back to the thumbnail, this thumbnail 100% tells me a story. It's got the red circle pointing to top search results. I can see a map. Boom. I know there's not even any text except your business here. This tells me everything that I want to know. If I had a shop or a restaurant or a bakery or whatever, and I wanted it to be at the top results in my local area, this is telling me the story that he's going to get me to do that. I would trust him. And for $5, I really can't go wrong. So, your thumbnail, like I've been saying, it's got to tell a story. And the story that it's telling is, what can you do for your customer? Now, notice that none of these thumbnails say any credentials, like they have whatever certifications or whatever degree. None of them say that, because at the end of the day, nobody cares. They just want to know that the $175 or the $600 or the $5 that they're spending is going to be well worth it. So your thumbnail has to show that somehow, that the potential client can trust this particular seller. So put those components together in your thumbnail. If you do have a picture, make it sure that it's a picture where you're smiling, where you're looking at the camera, and it's a good picture. If you're not going to have a picture, that's totally fine too, or a photograph of yourself, but it needs to tell a story that what you're selling is going to happen, that their expectations are going to be met. So to learn about how to rank higher on Fiverr, you're going to want to watch this video right here, and it will tell you what you need to know to rank higher in the search results. So thanks so much for watching. Be sure and click like, subscribe to my channel for more amazing Fiverr content that will help you earn 6 figures. Thanks for watching. Bye.